But I also want to say, for me, it is the importance of knowing that you are a brand. A friend of
Yeah.
mine spoke, and I spoke about this, and a few weeks ago. And I do remember telling another friend as well in my previous school in South Africa as well that you are a brand. You literally you do everything you do in your power to make sure that you protect that brand.
Mm.
You yourself, because then you are, you know what, people want you. You don't
Yeah.
even have to be, that person. You just work so hard. It's not even working hard in a sense that, you're going to be the one person who's going to be there first and like leave late. No, your CV speaks for itself. Your work speaks
Yeah.
for itself. Your
Yes.
personality, all of that. And so for me, I just definitely want to say, in addition to the networks, it's definitely
Mm.
how much you're adding to yourself, because then you are a brand. Then they want to be associated with Unomonde, because this is,
Goodness.
now you're
Yeah.
coming in, you're like, oh yeah, master's in progress. So it's you think about it, they're sitting like, yeah, no, yeah, gold.
Mm.
So I think it's very important to think of yourself as, like, when we think of upskilling ourselves, and we think of all these, PDs, professional development workshops and stuff, do it. Even those few ones on YouTube, like even watching
Mm.
your podcast, is it
Yeah.
can really aid someone in really developing themselves, and then they gain that
Mm.
confidence, and it kind of exudes in the way that you talk about yourself in interviews, even the way that you apply for a job, those things.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yes.
one. And then so fast forward into, being in the space, I complete my master's, and by the time I completed the master's, I think at that point I was like, look, I love it here, I love my job, I really did. I was having a good time, but I just felt like I was missing something again. I was like,
Mm.
I don't think my journey in Shanghai is over. And once again, if you
Yeah.
remember, we spoke about building those networks. Case in point, I returned to the very same school that I was actually working in at the beginning,
Yeah. Yeah.
actually came in
Okay.
before. So
Mm.
now I'm coming. Now I am, way more mature. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have my family and my mom and my baby with me.
Yeah.
So I have my family, so I'm obviously, in a better space in so many ways. And I'm very confident as well. I've also gained a lot of, skills, and I can start to think of where I wanna go in terms of my profession. So for me, coming back as well was like one of those, it's still one of those, okay, so what now, no Monday? So how are we working on this? And I think,
Mm.
yeah, that's where it's
Okay.
at.
All right. Look, I like the fact that you took us back a little bit and touched on the whole we should be very intentional about carrying ourselves as brands.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I think maybe elaborate on that and just speak to our listeners as well, especially for those who are also just not working. Someone is looking at you and they're thinking, oh, I already have this degree. She's talking about a brand. What can I do now? I mean, I don't have a job, but I've got the qualification. How do I build my brand? Nobody has given me the opportunity to even step into the classroom and prove myself. So, how do you build your brand then from that place where you're a recent graduate? And the job is not there. How do I build my brand?
So reach out, like be a pest if you need to. Reach out to people you really feel like you can really connect to. I have a couple of, what fourth year, students. Oh, that sounds weird when I say it like that, but people I met
Yeah.
who were either student teachers and I was their mentor teacher, or maybe I met them just somewhere, and they talk to me and they go, hey, I'm trying to do this, what do you think of this, can I? And I think it's nice because then we built that relationship as well, and they're also able to ask, questions, and I'm able to be there to kind of support, and if I don't, I can refer them to somebody who can. So I definitely think, definitely reach out to somebody, go reach out to somebody, ask those questions, but also research. Go into those groups, go into LinkedIn, go onto all these spaces, but really, like really talk to people. What is really you can find out a lot of things if you know that this whole thing on inquiry based learning is now a thing. People are, or AI in education, whatever the case may be. Reach out, see those people posting those things, and see if you can follow. But just be in the loop. And I know, like I said, it can be very discouraging. I understand, but really reach out to people, because then good relationships can be built. It's a little bit harder when you're obviously leaving that, the school, like the education space, the schooling space. Does that make sense? Yeah, and going
Yeah.
into the world of work.
Varsity. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would strongly suggest that when you are actually in the space, because I think I can relate a little, those who are in the space already, in the education space already, can relate a lot better with what I'm saying right now. Reach out to people, ask if you see somebody doing something and that is exceptional. Ask, hey, what is this about? Because you're
Yeah.
constantly learning, and so that's how you build up your brand.